Good evening, I'm John Beard. Thank you for joining us tonight. Police constantly watch our speed. Now, due to the crash you just saw, they will be watching their own speed as well. If your dream is to have someone scream at you on national TV, this could be your chance. It has never happened before, but if you're watching TV Saturday night, you might see an earthquake hit Davenport. If you were outside Saturday, you saw we had quite a good little snow in the Quad Cities this weekend as well. It just didn't stick. All right, the Cardinals gave the ball to their ace last night. That didn't work out so well. They gave it to their other ace tonight. That even in spring training, playing the Royals is a great way to get well. Thank you, Roland. We'll be right back. Good evening, I'm John Beard. Thank you for joining us tonight. Moving forward with a plan to fight crime in Rock Island. That tops your news tonight at 9. Tonight marked the first official meeting of the Rock Island Task Force. Mayor Dennis Pauly put the group of 20 together. It was part of a campaign promise he made earlier this year. The group is aiming to come up with ways to identify crime and then minimize it. First on Fox, Kimberly Brown is live in the newsroom to tell us more about tonight's meeting. All right, thank you, Kim. Job cuts are coming for state law enforcement in Iowa. That's according to the Department of Public Safety, which has been forced to cut nearly $9 million from its budget. That's after Governor Chet Culver announced a 10% across-the-board budget cut. Public safety officials say they are working with the union to figure out who will be cut, and they say they will have a decision by October 28th. East Moline police are searching for a missing elderly woman tonight, 87-year-old Alice Rodelius. Police say she went to the Arsenal Golf Club last night to meet with friends, and after leaving, she reportedly drove to her former home in Moline, where she lived for 35 years. Neighbors say she recently moved into an assisted living center about a week ago. One former neighbor says her husband saw Rodelius drive up to the garage but did not see her get out. Now, police say Rodelius is driving a white 2009 Toyota Corolla license plate PSX124. Call East Moline Police with any information at 309-797-0401. All right, time now for a first look at the forecast. A little rain this morning. Evan says quite a bit more may be on the way. Thank you, Evan. Construction could slow your drive in Moline next week. Starting Monday at Avenue of the Cities and I-74, the eastbound on-ramp will close, as will the westbound exit. Crews say they should reopen in about a week. Davenport leaders began the process of revamping how they approach the city's downtown parking issues. This morning, they started removing parking meters in parts of Davenport. They are also temporarily shutting down the meters downtown, all to try and improve traffic and entice more people to visit the area. Fox 18's Kurt Liskey brings you the details. The parking meters south of 5th Street would only be bagged for about 3 months. During that time, Davenport would study where the most activity takes place and then readjust where and how they enforce paid parking in the downtown area. Suspending parking meters is not the only change suggested. Consultants say Brady, Harrison, 3rd and 4th Street should all be turned from one-way to two-way streets. They say that would make the downtown area more pedestrian-friendly. No final decisions as of yet. We will bring you the outcomes, of course, when the studies are finished. And the Davenport City Council meeting tonight. Council members are considering whether to give themselves a raise. They do so at regular intervals. Tonight is scheduled to be just the first consideration of that idea. A Davenport squad car involved in an accident. This happened just before 11 o'clock last night at Perry and 6th Street. Police say dashcam video shows a pickup truck failing to stop and hitting the car. No one was seriously hurt. Police ticketed the pickup's driver. To healthcare now. Senators in Washington, D.C. are working to merge two competing reform plans into one. That's after the Finance Committee passed an $800 billion plus plan yesterday. No government-run insurance option in that bill. A bill out of another committee does have a public option. Iowa Senator Chuck Grassley explains why he voted against the bill. Maine Senator Olympia Snowe was the only Republican to support the Finance Committee's bill. It passed in a 14-9 vote. Under the Finance Committee's plan, 94% of Americans would be covered. It costs $829 billion over 10 years. It creates nonprofit, member-owned co-ops to compete with private insurance companies, and it does not allow companies to deny you coverage if you have a pre-existing condition. To the competing bill now in the Senate, it would cover 97% of Americans. The final cost over 10 years is uncertain. It has a public option, which is government-run insurance, and it also requires companies to cover pre-existing conditions in people. Still lots more to come on the news at 9 when we come back. Encouraging news on Wall Street as the Dow climbs back past a big benchmark.
It's been a long road to get here. We have lots to get to in our You Decide 2008 election night coverage this evening. Millions of people still heading out to the polls, and millions of ballots are being counted where the polls have already closed. This is the view around the Quad Cities earlier today. Voting is over in both Illinois and Iowa. The polls just closed in Iowa. 2 hours ago, they closed in the state of Illinois. First on Fox, we are going to begin with the big one, the presidential race. And we have two graphics we want to show you. The first one is the popular vote. When we went to air, Obama 50% of the popular vote, McCain 49%. While this is important in terms of electing a president, it means next to nothing because it's the Electoral College that really counts. And if we take a look at that one, you will see Senator Barack Obama from the state of Illinois with 200 Electoral College votes. Senator McCain of Arizona, 90. Both candidates need to get to 270 to win this election. Obama just captured the state of Ohio, which was considered critical for a McCain victory. Obama also picked up Pennsylvania earlier, another key state. But the traffic flow of voters was not the same as it was during early voting. Volunteers say they expected to see a rush both in the morning and in the evening, but that rush at the end never really happened. This is North Scott High School during rush hour, if you can call it that. Not much wait for voters there. Fox 18's Kimberly Brown has more on lines or lack thereof at the polls. Right now, election officials are counting your ballots in Scott County and around the state of Iowa. We're going to move on and get with Pat later. This is long lines in the state of California today. Voters had to endure them all day long in many states. Obama's victory in the state never been in doubt, but excited voters are still turning out, waiting in lines that stretch for blocks in some cases. A record 13.6 million people are expected to turn out across that state. High voter turnout recorded everywhere. Yeah, it's nice to see. Yeah, no matter who wins, who you vote for, it's nice when everybody gets out there and votes and we have a true indication of what the nation truly wants. And before we let you go, we want to show you Grant Park in Chicago. 70,000 people expected inside the park, maybe 1 million outside to hear Barack Obama speak tonight. Will it be an acceptance speech or will it be something else? They're hoping for the acceptance speech in Chicago tonight. A lot of Obama supporters out there. Stay tuned. We are going to be right back. All right. Well, we are going to update some of those Illinois races coming up. And if we're lucky, we'll have some results from Iowa as well.
Election numbers.
Yeah, the crew feverishly trying to find new numbers for us. Let's take a look at the federal numbers, the federal races in the state of Iowa. Senator Tom Harkin declared the winner. He will be the first Democratic senator to serve a 5th term for the state of Iowa. We also want to mention that Fox News has declared Barack Obama the winner in both the state of Illinois, his home state, and the state of Iowa as well. The McCain campaign was holding out hope they could win in Iowa. They thought they had some internal polling that showed they had a chance, but Obama declared the winner early in the state of Iowa. Also, he won in Ohio and Pennsylvania earlier in the night. It's good news for those people in Grant Park we saw earlier. Pat, no good news for people as we get later in the week. It's going to get cold.